Hmm. Ah, seems I've forgotten something. Seems to be it. Salutations, class, and welcome back. Tonight is our control stream, which I think I might be doing for a couple more Mondays until we finish out the rest of the content that we have. Still trying to decide on the schedule for the rest of the week. I might or might not do something related to BlazBlue, which, for those of you in the FGC hearing the news yesterday, we have rollback coming to BlazBlue, which I might be participating in. Might even be the subject matter for a Friday stream. We'll see how things could play out this week. But, for now, we have a few more janitorial duties to be doing. Even if we are the head honcho here, we have a few more things we need to clean up.
Shawshank Redemption. That's the name of the movie I was thinking of earlier. Not important, but that was it.
Hey Joy, welcome. We're getting back to Control. We finished it last week, and now I gotta figure out how we access the DLCs. And all the other little miscellaneous quests we have going on. Something going on in the hotline chamber, you say? Which I access back from the director's office.
Jesse Faden, Director of the Federal Bureau of Control. I still don't quite believe it.
But you have to admit...
You always knew where we were headed.
Sounds wonderful, doesn't it? I like the ring of it. Director of Control. James, welcome. Thank you for the advice regarding Rainworld. I think I might be back to it sometime in the future.
Even if it was a dream, I feel Darling reached out to me through the hotline.
Ooh, we got more darling things going on?
Trench won't be the only callers from the beyond.
Ring ring. Hello. Situation, crisis, in Foundation. We demand your attention. Oldest house is in danger. We opened the door in maintenance. Hurry, post haste.
Problem in the Foundation.
Well,
That
one
was
of
Ahti's
many.
Vacation spot. We need to check this out.
Ooh, wait. I just titled the stream relevant to the joke of janitorial duties, as we're essentially cleaning up all the side quests we left lying around. Do we actually have a DLC focusing on Ahti? Still have faith in the slug cat. I will definitely try to change my perspective on that game. There was a lot of enlightening advice that James here, who is talking to us from YouTube, has told me about how to analyze the behavior of the game. It's difficult for me to figure out a game while I am streaming. Essentially, I am trying to focus my attention on the chat as well as the game itself, and with my divided attention, I might not be quite as analytic as I should be. Doing the DLC stuff first, personally I'd recommend doing side quests since I'm still a little underpowered. That would be a good idea. I don't know which is the DLC and which is the side quests. Which was our... There we go. A few more side quests here. You know what? Let's go ahead and take a look at one of these timed missions. I assume they dynamically generate and they just give you a few rewards. Something for you to occupy your time with. We still have the hiss everywhere around here then. What a shame. Foundation is definitely DLC. Gotcha. Well, I think we should get started. I do agree with your idea that we should do a few little side quests first to level ourselves up.
Any luck finding the armory? None. Looks like it got shifted. We have rangers checking each sector. Fuck, whose side is the house on?
Curious.
Looking. Watching the location.
We do have a few more levels to add in, too. That costs 4. I think we're going to want that. And another 2. I think that's just the most common measure of how good we're going to be performing. The extra bit of health will definitely do a lot for us in the long run. Now, where is it that we're going? To the ordinary town model. What is our quickest route there? Ah, the ashtray maze still seems blacked out even after we've gone through it. Looks like there's a lot of stuff going on there. Ordinary AWE. That's exactly where we have to be. So, regarding Rain World, I think I might actually just have to cheat a little and do a little research into mechanics. I've had a similar experience with Noida in the sense that it is incredibly merciless and punishing for every one of your mistakes. Noida was a game, though, that I played off-stream alongside playing it on-stream, so there were plenty of mechanics I was able to understand and analyze without the stream getting in the way of sorts. In that case, I might just try to do a little bit of research to know the mechanics behind Rain World. Looks like it's a game that has a lot of stuff we need to figure out as we go along, which I might not do quite as accurately while I am dividing my attention between the stream and the game itself. Your map is still misaligned to the actual landscape. Aha. I remember why we weren't using the pistol very much. Especially when this thing does its job so much better. Hey, everybody. Wait for that to reload. We can still alternate between using our TK and the actual bullets themselves. I look forward to Noida, isn't it? The first time we played it in a month. Feels like it's been a long time since we've gone back to Noida, and I know that's definitely happening this weekend. So far, just about everyone has voted for it on the Discord. By the way, you're not locked to one vote there. You can vote for as many as you want. Though a lot of people seem to focus on just Toho, which I am, not Toho. We have one vote for Toho, and then the rest of them are people voting for Noida, which I understand. I saw the rocket glare in the corner of my vision. Let's go ahead and grab a little bit of health. Hit the little guy first. Why exactly does the Foundation here have access to miniguns and that much powered armor? I mean, I suppose it makes sense given how dangerous some of these altered world vents and artifacts could be. Still, it feels a little weird seeing some 7-foot guy in hulking power armor show up with that kind of armament. Nope. Thank you for your delivery. Well, we got one guy still alive. Is it just him? Seems like it might just be him, unfortunately. On the topic of Rain World, you've held back quite a bit on mechanics knowledge for the sake of the integrity of the blind playthrough. Decide to loosen up on that for the sake of enjoyment. I think I'd enjoy that game a lot more if it controlled well. I don't know if that's a common complaint. I think it's an artifact of how they render all the creatures with a mix of programming and use of the sprites, as well as them appearing to have some measure of their own physics. I don't know if you've had the same experience yourself playing it, or if that is a common complaint, but it feels sort of like the characters themselves don't control too well. You did mention the chameleon characters being ambush predators. I chalked a lot of their stationary movement up to sort of dysfunctional programming. The game overall seemed more like a tech demo to me than an actual game, given that I've seen a lot of those lizard-looking folks that would be twitching and running around in circles. I considered some of their bizarre behaviors not to be intentional, but accidental. I might be wrong in that case. It's gonna be faster backtracking back to the other control point. Another thing is, I do want to try to focus on some games going on right now that would be able to get a growing viewership on this channel. I'm surprised that Rain World actually pulled in a few Twitch subscribers, yes, or Twitch followers, for the free people who join, on Rain World stream from yesterday. I didn't even know people would still be looking for it, so I'm curious exactly why it was recommended. No, higher. There we go. Right now, actually, I think it might have been a bit more responsible to pick a BlazBlue stream, as that just got a rollback beta started. I might even do doing that. Blah. You're actually the same person as Noob Pro yesterday, just on a different account. Or changing your name, I suppose. Didn't enjoy hearing the name called out. Or, who knows, it's wrong for me to assume. Where are we going anyway? Ah, Error, welcome. You were recommended by someone to check the game out. Yeah, it is interesting that people are still looking for Rain World. I actually haven't done any research into it outside. I don't know if that game came out in 2017 or later, and it just has 2017 labeled on it for YouTube. I do want to look at some more objects of power. Oh, wait. Shouldn't our gentleman who's been staring at that box forever and get a little bit of help? Yeah, I think that's exactly the one. Specifically said that the game is if you want to quote-unquote challenge yourself. It is definitely challenging. It's testing my patience more than anything else. But perhaps I need a different look into it. I do enjoy some sadistic games, so long as I feel like I'm capable. That's another thing that I've had about... It's probably very visible that a number of my gripes on, say, the Nicktoons streams and stuff like that was not if a game is difficult or punishing, but if it feels relatively dysfunctional. I think that's ultimately what my complaint is about Rain World, is that I haven't figured out the controls yet. Oh, the slug cat is very adorable. Incredibly. That's one of the reasons I did want to keep playing it, was I love the little protagonist so much. Reminds me so much of Ori from Ori and the Blind Forest, which is another game. I never played the sequel, and I never played the... what was it? Sort of a Game of the Year edition, the revamped and updated version of the first game. I played the first one right when it came out, and not any of the updates afterwards. I'll probably need a little bit of time to focus on the controls in that game, and figure out how to play it properly, because a lot of the jumping and all that stuff didn't feel very cooperative. But then again, I am trying to learn a completely unfamiliar control scheme while I'm streaming. And as one of the hardest things is keeping your attention focused on two separate places at the same time. I see people are still hissing. And thank you for the green screen error. I haven't taken a deeper look at it, but I will find some way to append that to... Oh, what is going on here?
Object of power? They're just standing there, mesmerized by it.
Okay, this is very different than the one that we were looking at previously. As interesting as it would be to look at this, I think we'll go save our fellow in containment first. I know exactly what it's like to have stared at something for much longer than I should have. The boy's eyes must be hurting. I was in containment, right? I believe so. One of these shelves, I believe. Funny how time flies. Rain World isn't getting too many views. Same with a number of things like Dead Cells, or heck, even Control, I don't think has pulled in a single new subscriber or viewer. Maybe there was one for the original episode. I'd like to try to focus on more popular things intermittently, such as, well, later this week we have Halo Infinite that we'll be starting the campaign on. I'm going to try to ride every hype train as the ones that I've done so far. Guilty Gear's done some modest success. Psychonauts, sadly, I don't think has had much happen with it either. It was the fridge, right? Yeah, he's standing right here.
Hey, what can I do?
You're back. Oh, thank you, thank you. If you're out of the way, I don't know what this thing will do. You have to get me out of here. The door can only be opened by the Panopticon supervisor. That's Langston, if he's still around.
Langston. Yeah, I know him. I'll go ask him how to get you out.
Please hurry. My eyes, they can't.
Hey, calm down. Just focus. What's your name?
Focus. Right. My name's Philip, and I think I can hold on for a bit. It's just my eyes. My eyes hurt so much.
Just hang on, Philip.
Must be as painful of an experience as watching VTubers. Now where's our quick float downward?
All this paranatural power contained in one place is a risk. Makes me wonder what other dangers are locked away inside the Bureau.
Yeah, we're helping Philip though. We did give him a bit too much negligence with our prior playthrough. But who am I to care about pixels and lines of code? Said the programmer, lines of code are specifically what I do care about. Yo, Langston.
Security systems are up and running again. Told you I could do it.
We never expect. There's someone named Philip up in a cell. He's watching a refrigerator and very rapidly losing it.
Philip? Oh shit, I forgot about fridge duty. He's been in there for over a day, I totally forgot.
You forgot about him?
There's a lot going on. The hiss, the Benikoff TV. Considering the number of things I'm juggling, ma'am, I think it's...
Listen, it's fine. We just need to get him out of there. He said you'd be able to open the cell door?
Yeah, I can unlock it on my terminal. There. Done. Door open. But Philip can't just leave. The fridge is behaving erratically. Ocular contact is the only thing that seems to placate it. If we don't have someone in there watching it 24/7, people will die.
Ah, it is just like watching VTubers.
I'm pretty good with these things.
Being pretty good with altered items isn't standard Bureau procedure, ma'am.
He doesn't know us very well.
We'll talk
see
to
you
Langston
later,
here in a moment.
I'll be here.
We'll figure out what's going on with the refrigerator first. Right, we do have a control point at the bottom here. Let's not do another snake eater elevator ride. Other direction. James, you care a lot about pixels and lines of code. I speak sarcastically. I do too, honestly.
I'm coming in.
Thank you. Oh, thank you, thank you.
I've cared too much about a virtual pet myself.
Jesse? The fridge is doing something!
Philip? If I look away, it hurts me.
Uh-huh, some rather monstrous drawings on the front. He's speaking in Linux.
Sounds like the board, but I can't understand it. Fuck?
Oh, well, hello there. I didn't expect to be finding this in this game. I thought our Eldritch horrors more of the psychological sort, and not actually alien flesh and blood. Philip gone too soon. He deserved better. Far better. Floor is destructible. Watch your step. Ah, we can pick those up. I hit the dodge button, you fiend. Uh-oh. Oh, of course. Well, you told me to watch my step, and watch my step I did not do. We could do with a lot more floating. That would allow us to do a bit more damage, focusing on firing if we don't have to necessarily watch our step until we're on the way down. Finally made a new animation. Progress is wonderful. I'll be glad to see it if you're willing to show me sometime. We should be here at the top already.
Hello? Jesse? Jesse? The fridge is doing something!
Philip?
He deserved so much better.
If I look away, it hurts me.
Huh. Interesting. Let's go ahead and see if we can reconfigure our weapon a little bit. Pistol was not the best of our options. I wonder. Could we do with a few rockets instead? Ooh. Lower ammo cost while levitating. Did it say which one this was locked to? Oh, hold on. I will try my best to never let you hear me sneeze. Ugh, that one hurt. Swap that out. Can we only put on one at a time? Ah, it's not locked to anything. Well then. Projectile speed is probably a bit better on the rockets. Instead, we'll do the ammo efficiency up here. Try this one more time. So we know the board's talking to us.
Sounds like the board, but I can't understand.
So is the hiss. The former here speaks to us in a somewhat different language. Ah, maybe that wasn't the most responsible thing to do. Another tennis boss that we can reflect the projectiles with. Upgrading the guns increases their number of shots. We will have to do that once we're back at another control point. Thank you for the reminder. I don't think levitating has any particular cost on its own. So we'll be able to simultaneously levitate and dodge and grab some things to throw at him. Of course. We were so close that time, too. Alright, a bit more patience. We will no longer be focusing so much on side strafing, but we will wait in between his attacks, so play more patiently. That is another issue I tend to have in a lot of games, even with endurance bosses that will have smaller openings and larger openings. I usually try to maximize as much damage as I can do, and thus, irresponsibly, will end up getting myself killed due to impatience.
Hello? Jesse?
Sorry, Philip, you're gonna have to have this happen again.
Something?
Philip? If I look away, it hurts me.
Let's see if we can get ourselves a better perspective on top of one of these pillars.
This sounds like the board, but I can't understand it. Fuck?
Right, this should be a lot easier if we don't focus too hard on aiming every single time. We also don't need to worry so much about maximizing our ammo efficiency either, if we're gonna be honest. The pits are the true final boss. Especially since you can't easily focus on them, on the pits and the boss at the same time. Just hip fire the Pierce, we'll be fine. Come on, get him. Got him.
Wait, there's no Black Pyramid here.
This is a completely different object then. If that's just the bottomless pit below,
The fridge seems fixed.
what was he rising from?
Did fighting that thing off change something?
Really, was that it? Oh, poor Philip. He was so responsible, too. Okay, hear me out here. The most responsible thing we did was not helping him, because that let him live longer. It's better to live with dry eyes than to have been eaten by a refrigerator. So, hear me out. We never should have helped Philip in the first place, as he would have survived. Pierce is obviously the best one. That leaves us with only charge that we can upgrade afterwards. Whatever that means. We can get better stuff now. We require more source, which we should have probably done that before the boss battle. Oh well. We are catching up at this point. Sorry you didn't finish the background of that Rain World fan art. You were working on your animations. From Professor himself, I would say that your own work is more important than the fan art for me. He's living in constant fear that would have ended the same way but slower, followed by the deaths of everyone that isn't watching the fridge. Very well, you do have a valid argument, James. Needless to say, Jesse would have kicked the fridge's ass sometime later anyway. I still like Shattered the most, honestly. Now, what else can we put on here? I think all 4 of those, or all 3 of those will work. Crafting items. Clearance level. We can probably get more. Wasn't there a 15 around here somewhere? I think we saw one. Now we can go look at that X-ray machine. Or the X-ray box, as they call it. Closest one is here in parapsychology. I did mention earlier on Twitter that my throat was hurting a little bit. I think that's mostly just a case of spending too much time talking. A little spot of tea does help that a lot. I'd argue even more than just regular water would. Now head down the stairs, and around the corner we'll see why everyone is so fascinated with these X-ray shots. This is not where I need to be. Heading down the stairs in the other direction instead. Oh, great. So, remind me, James. Since you are one of my regulars here, and I do always enjoy your presence, I don't think I've seen you in the Halo streams. Halo, I take it, is not one of your particular interests. I'm getting the vibe that you are more interested in atmospheric story-like games rather than the ones that are pure action. Oh, yeah, I could have just picked him up too. Ah, were those the psychokinetic guys? I thought we weren't supposed to be able to hit him. Then again, he wasn't in a wheelchair, so that might not have been the right person. So they have the X-ray box here in the hypnosis lab. Obviously, they're trying to see how they can manipulate it. Wonder what's with all the creepy yellow lighting. Oh, well, he was hissed. I was wondering why the music was still going. I didn't see anyone trying to interrupt us. Next animation is going to be the Queen. I love it. You weren't very interested in the first Invent stream, but you're willing to give the story mode stream a chance. I'm not too interested in the multiplayer either. I actually haven't played that at all off of the Xander account. I don't do, well, a lot of my gaming I do off of the Xander account, so I am looking around on other games under a different original name. I actually haven't done any Halo outside of the streams that I've done here. There's a lot of other things I'm trying to keep up with. I'll be honest, the multiplayer is a maybe from me, maybe in the future. But, I still have a lot of other games I'm focusing on more too. And I know I keep bringing up Toho, that's what I've been doing outside first. Find a way into the room to bind the X-ray light box. So it's not gonna be the most direct way in. Guess we do have to go through here then, huh? Or perhaps not. Yeah, with all the, action stuff going on. Well, I don't think I saw you on the Halo CE playthrough, either. That's what I was referring to specifically. I completely understand being uninterested in multiplayer shooters. After all, outside of Halo, I'm not interested in shooters anymore myself, either. But there is a curious little bit of story to discuss and discover. I love the adhesive foam around the walls. Was there a door there? Looks like there's a door and they really wanted to keep something hidden behind. As wonderful as those little alerts are, the shooting isn't necessarily the best in this game. So I'll ignore a number of those other calls to action. Hum. Lock controlled remotely, so there should be a terminal somewhere in one of these rooms. Ha ha. Well, I'm going to need an example first, aren't I? Need to know what I'm looking for. Maybe that one. Don't have investment in the franchise, so you're willing to wait for the Infinite stream. Probably won't play it yourself beyond what little time you've given the multiplayer stuff. Understandable. Halo's an interesting franchise. I completely understand the lack of investment in it. Halo is just something I grew up with, so it's very dear and nostalgic to me, especially since they seem to be playing up the nostalgia for the Infinite release as well. Let's go ahead and see if we can replicate that image. Thick border on all sides, the top is thicker than the rest. Wrong one. Professor is a verified genius, according to himself. I don't have anyone else verifying my superb intellectual prowess.
Please state your name for the record. Paul Warren, astronaut first class. And you are aware that exposure to the astral plane can result in death, disability, personal injury, corporeal untangling, cognitive collapse, loss of ego, and partial to full dementia?
Yeah. I am.
And you acknowledge that your use of the astral conduit, aka the X-ray light box, is purely voluntary.
Yes, I do.
Perfect. Your suit is good?
Yeah.
Okay, you're all set. Open the door for Mr. Warren, please.
I wonder if these are readable. Looks like they do have actual text on there, but I'm not sure what they're supposed to say. Very well, X-ray box. Convince me of your secrets. Ah, hello, friend. So glad to see you once more. Use C's to complete the astral plane challenge? Time for a new ability. What's the button I'm looking for, though? Enemies at low health can be seized. So a little bit of Jedi mind tricks to go here. And they can hit the golden enemies. Funny how the whole golden enemy mechanic was only used for the astral plane here. Well, thank you, my Illuminati friend. Your endorsement helps me along bit by bit every single time. And we get a lot of ability points from doing those. I'm impressed. Aw. Are you guys still alive?
Fried when I took over the object.
Aw. We're not allowed to save anyone, are we? I will be trying to look for more popular or recent games to be playing. Maybe I'll try to sneak in a Blaze Blue stream tomorrow night. Should have been tonight, but we do love this game so much. I have made a discussion, what was it? If you upgrade C's, you can control the healing orbs, and boy, oh. Well then. Thank you for your irresponsible use of rockets. The screams almost sound human. Need to go find something to eat before you die. James, your drawings are good. Yeah, I absolutely love James's art style, and I will shill that every time I can. You draw the cutest stuff. I love it. Normally, I don't have a policy about following viewers on Twitter, but for as seldomly as you post, I love everything I see. Well, looks like we have a lot of investments to be making. Let's go ahead and see what other little quests we have lying around. I'm not interested in shooting more stuff. Ah, we do have more to do on the fridge. So, Langston, tell me what's going on here. And tell us what happened to Philip. There's the blood, sure, so maybe he died, or did he disintegrate? will probably be contemporary popular stuff this week, so expect BlazBlue and Halo stuff happening. Not sure yet if I'll be participating in the BlazBlue VTuber tournament on Friday. I might give it a try.
I am more of a reptile person.
Right.
Langston, tell me.
How'd it go? Where's Philip?
Philip's gone. Something happened before I could get him out.
Poor Philip. He never did like fridge duty.
So why did you assign him
If you're
there?
here, then who's watching the fridge?
The fridge is fine now. I took care of it.
You don't just take care of altered items. What did you do?
I touched it and wound up in the astral plane. This thing was in there. It was huge, had one big eye. Wasn't friendly.
We've been getting reports from the astronauts lately about something fitting that description. The astral plane is usually connected to our world through objects of power, not altered items. If this thing is linking itself to altered items, then it's clearly powerful. This may happen again.
Do you think that thing is what got Philip?
Must have been. The Panopticon is a dangerous place. The agents all know the risks. But, since you're some sort of altered item whisperer, I've got a list of others for you to corral.
Ooh, more boss fights?
The Hiss are causing containment breaches left, right, and center. Here, start with these. I'll see if there are any others missing while you're gone. My life just got a whole lot easier.
What a bizarre fellow. I love him. It is sort of a SCP containment breach.
Will you stay on after things calm down, Langston?
Are you asking if I'm quitting? Oh, no, ma'am. I'm not having some mid-level agent make a mess of my Panopticon. Plus, I'm racking up serious overtime hours with this lockdown. Just don't take too long clearing out the Hiss. My cat gets separation anxiety.
I'll do what I can.
He must have gotten a pet sitter.
Okay.
Any
Guess he doesn't
thoughts
have
on
too
me
much going
serving
on.
as director? I know it was a sudden change.
Oh, no complaints so far. Trench was all secrets, lots of meetings behind closed doors. You seem much more approachable. But if I can give you some advice, ma'am.
Oh
keep
boy.
a grip on who you are. I've been here a long time, and I don't know if it's the job or this place, but people change here, and not for the better.
I'll try to keep my head on straight.
Doesn't look like it had an effect on Langston. He seems he was an odd fellow both before and after.
Can I get a situation report for the sector?
Whew, okay, we still have to perform a proper inventory of the cells. Lord knows how many altered items snuck out during all this. Staffing. We definitely lost some people. Gonna have to hit those college career fairs, am I right? Huh.
Hard to imagine the FBC at job fairs.
The Hiss are still tearing up the place faster than we can fix it, but the containment sector is stable-ish.
Considering the alternative, I'm happy with stable-ish. I'll see you later, Langston.
I'll be here.
Fare thee well, you handsome rogue. That's sarcasm. So you got a list of things for me to inspect, huh? And just where would those be? Make our small investment here. We want more reserve energy, since that's just usable for everything now that we've upgraded all of our health. What new stuff do we have here? Nothing for us to do just yet. They're scattered around everywhere, I see. Wonder what that room is off to the left. Paper lantern, traffic light, hand chair, and moving letters. Let's take it from the top. Which I mean literally. Panopticon is where we have the traffic light. Does anyone remember where that was? I don't think I saw one on the way in. Casually knock that aside like it's made out of paper. I do hope it's down and not up. Oh, yeah. Hello to you too. Took over the TV room. Ah, healing doesn't matter if you can just one-shot them. Huh. Heads up. Just toss them into each other. I love it. We should have picked that ability up first. That's the most important one that we've had. Never run out of ammunition like this. In fact, now it looks like we can do a total of 4 launches. And they're all easy pickings now that we're this far ahead. Kayla, welcome back. So glad to see you again. We're cleaning up a few side quests that we had lying around. Ah, darn it. Line up another bullet here real quick. Hey, where'd he go? Huh. How do they always run away so fast? Took over the TV room, you said? Ah, and there it is. Another fight, perhaps?
Wait, how did I get back here?
Yes, I too have watched Squid Game. Low-hanging fruit, let's go. Well, that was the easiest joke I could have possibly made here. Honestly, that one didn't sound very good coming out of my mouth. Ugh, I feel like vomiting. Funny, when you think about it. We talk about how intuitive the mechanics are here because we do have an archetypal object that we recognize. If there wasn't any history that someone had with traffic lights, they might not know exactly what they're supposed to do here.
Last escaped altered item to worry about.
There's another mechanic, that's something you see in a lot of games. We sort of have this recurring mimetic understanding of game mechanics through things that we've seen before, either in other games or in real life. Something that I did make an observation about this once I understood more about Japanese culture. Super Mario Sunshine, who here remembers that game? There were those secret levels that you'd go through and it had the bizarre blocks that you'd be interacting with. The brick ones you would hit from below, and could only be destroyed by jumping into them from below, which is reminiscent of the earlier Mario Brothers games, so people who'd played Mario games previously would know what to do with that immediately. Then there's the watermelon blocks, arranged into squares. Those can only be destroyed from above. As a kid, I thought it was so bizarre that they were watermelon blocks sitting everywhere. Until later I understood that that is actually a very common summer pastime in Japan. Smashing watermelons. They also have this sort of cultural thing, I don't know if there's a specific name for it, but they do try to grow watermelons molded into easy to pack, easy to carry square shapes. So that is not something that might be so intuitive to a Western player of Super Mario Sunshine, but to a Japanese kid playing that game, the idea that you're supposed to smash a watermelon from above, well, that would be intuitive. Recognition is a big part of graphic design and is a big part of the challenge of designing warning signs that anyone can understand. Indeed, indeed. There's still a lot of different things between cultures. Oh, what is it? I believe smiling is universally understood except for, I believe it was the Philippines? There's a Southeastern Asian country in which smiling is considered a symbol of submission rather than a symbol of happiness, or an expression. That's a better word than symbol. There's so much different connotations to different ideas across different cultures, so making something recognizable to everyone is indeed a challenge. Let's see if we can get into that sealed threshold hall. Which is that one? And it's kind of funny how it loops back around to the altered items that we see in Control. There was the story discussing that altered items only manifest as archetypal objects. It wouldn't be, say, oh well, I can't use that as an example. Any sort of object that has immediate recognizability has that mimetic property of being understood throughout cultures just by talking about it. Hence why we have Japanese paper lanterns, hand shares, moving letters, and traffic lights. There's sort of the implication in the story here that these items are created out of humans' mutual understanding of them. That will include all the clocks as well. Bizarre manifestations born out of humans' understanding of ideas. I have discussed on a number of previous streams how I plan on doing a formal debut sometime in the future. The discussion I had on Friday after the tournament, which was one of my favorite streams in such a long time. I did have a bit of a heart-to-heart with the viewers here about how there's a number of things Xander is working on. I know the last few years have been turbulent for everyone, so I'm not going to try to deny it by saying, oh, Professor's doing just fine and always has been fine. I started the streaming stuff to better myself, and there might come a time in the future when I feel ready and prepared I will be making a formal debut. But along with that, I might be unlisting or hiding a number of the old streams that we've had here, so the history we are sharing now is the history I will always remember, but it might be something that I hide from an audience in the future, as there's a number of vulnerabilities I've shown off and might like to keep hidden once there is a larger audience to reach. But the reason I brought that conversation up is me saying that I've enjoyed Control enough that it might be a game I'm looking to play again once there are more people to witness it. After all, it definitely fits my aesthetics and my character. One of my favorite parts here is the bit of voice practice. Supplementary materials. A. Can you tell us why you left your building that day? I was running out of eggs. There was that corner store on 30th. That's why I left Michael there on his own. Knew I wouldn't be gone long. He was drawing at the table when I left. Had his crayons out. Happy. The building came down when I was a block away. I ran back, started digging. City workers found Mikey later, beside the fridge. The drawings hadn't come off. Tons of bricks fall on it and all those drawings are still there. How does that happen? You kept the refrigerator after the accident. Why? It still had his drawings. God must have kept them safe for a reason, right? I'd get home from work and stare at them all night. I was in a bad way back then. Why did you sell the fridge with your son's drawings still on it? They'd gotten stuck to it, or something. I thought about cutting off those magnets, but maybe it was better I didn't hold on to them, you know? Gotta move on, everyone says. What's my fridge got to do with the building collapse anyhow? End of relevant portion. So a bit of backstory. We do have an understanding of how those drawings got on there. Some little kid doodling monsters and getting them attached to the fridge. So we saw that bizarre one-eyed worm thing that was attacking us. Hold on now, that's an idea. We know that the board, as well as the hiss, and the former, I believe, is what that bizarre thing was called. They do not speak to us necessarily with words, but it is implied that they beam thoughts directly into your head. Perhaps we piece together that understanding of the fact that these altered objects, these objects of power, alter items and all that stuff, altered world events, happen because there are these eldritch creatures with a recognition of thought, and through humanity's collective recognition of symbols, they're sort of brought here. Possibly through a psychic or cognitive portal. That's how they get their connections, right? Only through these sentient beings being able to piece together these thoughts and ideas with each other. Arctic Queen, they call it. Sounds like a stand name. I don't watch JoJo. Containment procedure. No unique procedures required. Effect. A Arctic Queen brand electric refrigerator model from the 1960s. No cooling functionality. The door is decorated with crayon illustrations by... The illustrations cannot be removed from the item. All attempts have failed. The paper cannot be burned or torn. The item first came to the Bureau's attention after it survived the collapse of New York City's Grand Central Hotel, where it served as an appliance in an apartment rented by a man named... It became the subject of local infamy after surviving the building's collapse undamaged. Mr. who was out of the building at the time of collapse, PM, retained ownership of the item until 1974, when the Bureau purchased the item through a false identity. New altered effect has been observed. See file AL10.F for details. See file AL10.K for new containment procedures. Polaris, Hadron, and Hiss all use sounds that have inherent paranatural effects. Indeed. We're starting to get a much more cohesive picture of how all these objects and interactions occur. Sort of paranatural thinking, the overlap between thought and functionality in the world. Red light, altered... Oh wait, no, that's not an L, that's a capital I. That is my biggest gripe with the letters that the English language uses. It's so difficult in certain fonts to distinguish between a capital I and a lowercase l. These are altered item cases. That would explain it. AI49-KE. Containment procedure. The object's effect is subdued by exposure to sunlight. Description and altered effect. A traffic light with 3 distinct lights arranged vertically from each of its 4 sides. From top to bottom, the lights shine red, yellow, and green. A popular children's game is believed to be integral to the manifestation of the item and its effect. If an entity approaches the item while its red light is activated, they will be instantly relocated at a distance of from the item. Theories that the item is shifting people to a former timeline or parallel universe have been explored and dismissed. The item was discovered after a streetlight at an intersection near the elementary school began shifting people away from itself after sunset. A local panic brought the case to the attention of the Bureau. The item was contained and a gas leak was blamed for this confusion in the townspeople's perception. A document mentioned a scientist that was looking into the phrases That's right, I remember that one! Document mentioned a scientist that was looking into the phrases used and not used by the passive floating hiss, as they recognized that these words had some sort of an effect. Hence the very strange paragraphs that we hear all these hist folk talking about? Orange peels and whatnot. Well, with our first direction of doing a lot of talking reading through these notes, I will need to grab myself another drink. Pardon me as I excuse myself for only a minute. Professor shall return. Ha! I return, freshly hydrated. I did have a thought while I was away that there is sort of an overlap here between the identity of specific words having paranatural effects and the overlap it has with a lot of popular depictions of magic spellcasting. You know, there is the common trope, actually one I'm not fond of, where magic in other universes is cast through the recitation of chants or words or spells. Obviously, to my millennial audience, the most recognizable one will be Harry Potter, but it's commonplace in a lot of other franchises and stories as well. Up there? Ha ha. It's a little stool here, right? No, it's the paper lantern. Example, Jessie didn't even know the hiss was a thing until the flooding people appeared at the end of the hallway, followed by the hiss trying to control her. Indeed. They just talked about orange peels one too many times. That is a very large paper lantern.
Wasn't so bad.
Easy. Wonder if we get a little backstory on that doohickey. Now we only need to move on to the handchair and the moving letters, see if we can find a couple more documents. That would definitely be a good read for us. I'd like to know what that paper lantern is doing. Although it seems to mostly just have a gravitational effect. Some of the objects, altered items and such, have a function similar to
This is the safe room.
what their archetype would imply.
The one with the altered item inside.
Hey, hold on, I didn't get in there yet. The paper lantern didn't seem to have a function there indicative of its identity, but the traffic light having the whole red light, green light thing going on, it's definitely another one. One theory is that the hosts act as conduits that help in the spread and perpetuate the hiss's passive presence in the oldest house. Oh, right. I see so many paragraphs I cannot differentiate them. One theory is that the host acts as conduits that help spread and perpetuate the hiss's passive presence in the oldest house. Example, Jessie didn't even know the hiss was a thing until the floating people appeared at the end of the hallway. Indeed. Sorry about my negligence in reading only the second part first. Xander rushed to finish his dessert before he ate the rest of his dinner. threshold with effect manifested in the containment sector in the middle of the department. Simultaneously, numerous appeared in the area, injuring and killing many. After rescue operations were completed and Rangers were sent in to discover the threshold's epicenter. The sheer amount of made the expedition impossible. The area was sealed off after removing the clocks proved an impossible task. The department was relocated and the area abandoned. Researchers theorized that the threshold introduced unstable matter to our dimension, which adopted the form of the as when introduced to more stable. Kayla, a number of your slip-ups and your sentences really sound like a text-to-speech software. Not a text-to-speech, a text recognition software. You don't make typos so much as you use similarly sounding words that can be mistaken. I personally have my hang-ups about speech recognition. Granted, it's not perfect, so it's not scary just yet. But in a sort of uncanny valley sense, the fact that computers can get so close to actual vocal recognition while still not being so quite accurate. I think you're forgiven, Kayla. James laughed it off as well. Is that an anchor? And that is a shiny box for me. Oh dear. Well, I know that's enough for us to get to the other side of the hallway here. Ooh, boy, is that scary. But just enough space for us. Let's get ourselves a little bit of travel up to the other side here. Should be much easier to make that jump now. Wait, where was it? I already missed it. Didn't happen on a Samsung, but it happens on the iPhone all the time. I am personally a Samsung loyalist myself, although recent business decisions from them have made me reconsider. Although I try as infrequently as possible to replace my phone. I only do that really when the old one breaks. I don't use my phone for very much, so I also don't buy very expensive phones. One thing that might change my opinion, however, is the iPhone has infrared recognition for its face tracking. And the best VTuber face tracking, that's short of, say, studio professional quality, a lot of people actually use iPhones. Oh, that's a big one.
What the fuck is that?
Fun fact, at the time when you unlocked this room, you didn't have the ability of flight. Ah. Guessing this is one of those bosses where the instant it opens up, we gotta start throwing things into it. Indeedy do. Simple enough. I'm going to guess we have to use the larger red ones, as they're highlighted to make them more recognizable. Not that one. The other side. It appears to be rotating. Ha 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 ha. Clockwise. You guys are hilarious, thank you. Think you're sneaking in a stealth pun, huh, Remedy? Oh. See if it keeps that up. Indeed, the most suspicious of red clocks. Ah, rotating faster now, are you? We might have to do a little roundabout here to pick up some health first, and then be ready on the next delivery. So what it looks like we have to do here is wait for it to spit out a red clock and then catch it on the next rotation. So, get rid of these guys now. Ah, looks like anything works. Did we have any more suspicious red clocks lying around? Seems any of these will do. How wonderful for all these eldritch abominations to be manifesting with giant glowing weak spots. Professor is panicking. Ah, darn you. There we go. Should be one more. Let's get that last rotation in here, shall we? Time's up.
That must be the old Janitorial.
Get it? Get it? Get it. Love me, I'm hilarious. This anchor is giving me a hankering.
There. No wonder the Rangers had such a hard time with that one.
Very bizarre. Wonder if we did unlock a little case for that one. I'd like to know why an anchor is spitting out clocks. Something to upgrade our spin, you say? Aha! I like it. Now then. Simple enough, we'll use that just to invest in our energy. We never really used the melee. I think that's the one tree we'll not be focusing on upgrading whatsoever. So, we now have to look for a hand chair and some moving letters. Medical wing, closest entrance is, let's say, logistics. Yeah, I think I might actually try to fit in a Blaze Blue labbing stream tomorrow. As an interesting challenge, I'd like to try to see which character I want to end up playing, since that's a game I should be picking up, what with rollback coming to it. Not on that one, but on these guys. Only the ones that are shrieking at us. Like we just insulted their favorite K-pop star. I'm done with you yet. I wonder if those guys explode when you toss them. Where'd you run off to this time? Maybe logistics is not the best place to walk into, as every time it seems we get ambushed. No more reason to panic, Kayla. I think we are getting through here just fine. Now, we finally get to see which direction we were going. Up here into the medical wing. Which is not through that closet. Once I've gotten a bit more recognition of how the map's supposed to work, I kind of like it. Although I still have the complaint that the graphic of the map itself does not align to your actual position in the game. That's right, we never figured out what was going on with the weird folk that looked like marine life. Sort of rocky aquatic coral people. We never really got much passage into those specific shelters that have been blocked off by all that weird phenomena either, so it looks like we have a lot to discover. Cleanse and contain the hand chair. Our answers might just be right here, since that's where the highest concentration of this nonsense is going on. Eat lead, you son of a witch. The map graphic is not good for the multi-level environment. That is true. I'd very much love it if it was cut piecewise into the different levels, and you had a much easier indication of which way was going up a floor, which way is going down. We sort of similarly have a system like that in Rain World, I noticed. Which I think still could be a bit easier to navigate. But I did notice after I was looking on the map offline, just immediately after the stream, I was trying to see if there's anything I could get myself to recognize. The map there does seem to be a bit more navigable. Done with eating. Welcome back. Hope your meal was wonderful, Error. I'm still addicted to chili cheese fries myself. Yeah, could I have an explanation for that? Why is he throwing gang signs? Nope, got those cleared out consecutively. The hand chair. Uh-huh.
Easy peasy.
So the rest of these objects made perfect sense. That one absolutely did not. Perhaps there's a document around here that allows us to recognize what the heck's going on with that. Whatever the heck that was. Really, is there another little cluster of hiss that I need to get out of the way? Ah, there's one. No, that is only part of the wall, but there we go. Kayla, don't like Rain World. I think we'll revisit it at another time when I have a bit more patience and time to devote to it. Though right now, during the holidays, we have potentially the most busy time of the year to try to get out some good streams. There's so many new games coming out that I'll want to ride the hype train for. I'm off to a decent start so far, but I do need to make more presentable and advertisable content. Some indie game from 2017 might not be the best idea. So yeah, we'll be dropping Rain World from now, but I hate leaving something unfinished. I do believe that game just requires a reinterpretation of my perspective more than it fundamentally being a bad game. How explosive. I'm not here to shoot. Let's get out of here. No way through there yet, I imagine. Wonder what's supposed to be going on there. Alright, let's find our quickest way out. We'll be down this way, I imagine. Let us hop downstairs. And here we go. Oh, great. So far, Pierce is still our best weapon. If we can hit with it. Gotcha. I'm so excited for the Halo campaign. It looks like they might actually have it set up very differently from all the other games. I'm not sure if it will have the proper Halo feel or otherwise. That's gonna be happening on Wednesday. Now I can finally focus and get ourselves a direction again. Open up this little box here. Personal mod launch efficiency. Well, hello, gorgeous. Minus 18% versus minus 16. It's not any better. Of the powers in this game, which one would you want in, presumably in real life, and would you want the service weapon? One of my favorite things, as I've said previously, I enjoy a good bit of creative engineering, so a firearm that's so reconfigurable would be something I absolutely love. I'm trying to think. Was there any game I played before that has similar function? You do get some similar tricks out of weapons in Borderlands. The Forerunner weapons in Halo 4 and presumably 5 also had similar abilities. So the idea of a weapon that can configure itself is definitely one of my favorites. Although, let's be honest, I don't have much of a reason to be using violence in the real world. But in whatever Xanderverse there'd be, presumably I'd have to have a way to fight off people. Definitely a good idea. As for the rest of them, most of these are combat-oriented, so I'll have to think. It would depend on the environment that they are presented in, but presumably it'd be something that I'd have to do some fighting. I think universally, the utility of telekinetic movement, such as just being able to pick up things and move them, that has both utility in a combat and just a pacifist sense. It would be very lovely if I could just, you know, pick up a cup of coffee from across the room. So, I think that'll be my answer. Also, as much as we see it being useful in Psychonauts as well. Just the ability to move things from a distance. Definitely love it. That'll be my answer, is I wish I had some sort of telekinetic abilities. As well, it seems to be able to pull things up that normally you would not be able to lift physically, so... Say, if I had to move apartments again, it would turn an 8-hour job into maybe a 4-hour one, and one that would leave me a lot less tired unless it causes some mental strain to utilize it. But Jesse doesn't seem to be too much the worse for wear after using it a lot. And as well, welcome Blaze Warrior. This has been so far one of our best games to stream. So I'm glad to see you. The VODs will always be up. In fact, the first episode that we have here, I feel like I was on point the entire time. Although I might have had my struggles in some of the other episodes, that will always be in the Hall of Fame. Right, we were looking for a way out of here. I'll have to mark this down along with Noida as one of my favorite games ever, probably, that we'll be doing on this channel. I love Psychonauts 2 as well. Who knows? If there's ever a second iteration of Xander, post-debut, those might be games I revisit. Though that is still a very significant chunk of the content that we've made so far. I can't imagine off the top of my head many other games that I played that I'd be willing to play once and then just drop. But the post-debut week is the most important one, so if I had to line up content for then, it would definitely include this game, along with some other games that are specific Xander favorites. Looks like it's going to be a very, very dense week. And so, I'm thinking, for our 6-month anniversary, I'll be doing that on Saturday instead of Sunday, even though Sunday would be I believe Sunday is the 12th, and that would be the formal day that I'd actually be having the 6-month anniversary. I think I tried to stream a day before, but YouTube was blocking me out, as you need to be verified for 24 hours before you begin your first stream. I should have done a lot more testing, but if you go back to my very first week of streaming, please don't,
That's no
you'll
piece of paper.
see me being a lot less in the proper mindset of streaming. Should have done a lot more practice prior.
Okay, you need to know where it's going.
Aha, that is very dangerous. Looks like a puzzle for us to figure out, huh? You return. How's your voice? It's doing wonderful. I think yesterday it was an issue because I had been streaming for quite a while and I don't know what was going on. I didn't have my tea yesterday, which is definitely doing a much more soothing performance on my voice right now, so I'm doing great. Although I am going to be putting in a lot of work this week, so guess I'll have to chalk it up to 11 on. I see, it's moving in a pattern, and it looks like we have only a short amount of time before it re-manifests again, so we need to expect when it's going to show up, and then we can very quickly try to grab it.
You need to find the other pages.
So yeah, I'm doing wonderfully tonight. Where was I the previous moment? Yeah, I think it's Saturday I'm going to do my longest stream yet, where I might just be here all day. Have some sort of a big meal beforehand, and then just see if I can stream for 8, maybe 12 hours. See who all shows up. We have a lot of things gathering up in the Discord vote, and I think after the stream tonight, I will be posting a vote on Twitter as well. Hours? Yeah! It'll be my 6-month anniversary. I gotta do some sort of celebration for it. After all, in terms of the content I've been putting out, it has been reliable and consistent. There hasn't been a week I've taken off since I've started streaming, but I might... Well, it's been mostly minimalistic so far. I've just been doing this streaming, but not compiling any sort of collaborations or compilations. And with as recognizable and lovable as Professor is, he doesn't yet have the audience he deserves. So, I'm going to do something that requires a bit more effort and exertion on my part. See if that picks up any recognizable amounts of momentum. After all, it's 6 months. I should at least hit 100 by now. And after that, the progress is only exponential. This lady has the Force. Oh, have you never heard of Control before? I'll be honest, I didn't before either. But it is a Remedy game, which usually focuses on third-person shooters surrounding supernatural events. So, there's a lot of history behind this one, and if you do want to see the history of Control on this channel, all of the VODs are available on my YouTube channel, which is linked in the Twitch header. That is a missile. Oh, there's 2 of them. And yes, I am interested in the coral stuff. I will be heading there after we figure out the letters in here. I did see your messages, James. And I will be heading there. I might be willing to change my answer. If seizing is an ability I could have in real life, it depends on what exactly we'll be doing with it. I don't know if it could let me convince my boss to let me have a day off, or if it only has applications for combat purposes, especially after injuring someone. I don't know about the unfortunate implications of beating someone up and then taking over their mind. A bit too sinister, and while I do have my doubts about morality, I try not to be explicitly malicious. What's going on here? Ah, this was the control point. So now we have to figure out where the other letters are. Where is Leviathan? I don't know. She usually shows up to every one of my streams. She might be feeling a bit ill at the time. I know she did say earlier that she had a stream planned for tonight, and she might be canceling it. It's been 11 months and you still haven't reached 1K, but you have reached a lot. I have looked at your channel. There is sort of just the niche that would happen with the case of doing Undertale AU fan... doing Undertale AU fan content. So there is sort of the limited scope of what content you are putting out. After all, the most famous VTubers out there, even with their reliable ability to pull in a viewership of 10,000 or potentially more, it's mostly the same people, and they still have... I think Gura's the most famous at this point, if we just go by YouTube metrics. Kizuna Ai or Gura or whatever. They'll still only have maybe 3 or 4 million subscribers, compared to some of the other largest Let's Players, which, even after their own self-promotion, might have similar viewer amounts. I've come to understand that VTubing is actually a very niche community. And the only reason it seemed to get popular was just because Hololive and Niji Sanji both put in a lot of money into their marketing departments. It is insane how much that stuff gets around. And then the smaller VTubers, in contrast, get pretty minimal recognition. But outside of the streamer sphere, there's definitely a number of, say, other regular streamers that would be easily recognizable. VTubers not so much. VTubers are kind of their own self-contained world from my observations. It does have overlap with all of the anime or streamer communities regardless. But outside of internet addicts, a lot of folks don't seem to recognize too much of what's going on with VTuber-related things. That's mostly just looping back around to the idea of you can potentially be limiting yourself on your potential maximum subscribers just by the scope of whatever work you're putting out. Do you just do AU fan content? Error. I don't remember if I've seen other explicit Undertale stuff. There's definitely a very large niche for Undertale and Deltarune stuff in general, but the fandom for AUs is but a section of that fan base. Alright, how am I getting out of here? I'm gonna need more health. Oh boy. C3PO, got lucky with your channel. One video got 500,000 views, so you pulled in viewership from that. Yeah, and it is a statement I've made, I think last Friday and a number of times, but one of my favorite phrases that I've come up with, and something I will be saying a lot is, the meritocracy does not exist. That is something I've come more to an understanding of from me spending enough time trying to look for other VTubers that put in loads of content without any recognition. Not necessarily so much of a bias of myself. I am infamous for being a little hard on myself. I've only done the streaming, but I haven't put together compilations or enough social networking. So I understand that I pretty much belong right where I am right now with the amount of effort I put in. But there are creators with such wonderful amounts of content that do not get the recognition they deserve. And seeing how quickly a video can go viral for no reason, such as my previous control stream. Why am I trying to say control scheme? I've been thinking about game design too much lately. The control stream that I did last actually had the second most number of views out of anything on my channel. Just because I put Happy Chaos on the title. People were not looking for control-related content whatsoever. But still, so many of them happened to cross my video, and it got so many views by accident, even though, I mean, it just happened to get there from the YouTube algorithm. No one subscribed, of course. No one was looking for that content. They just accidentally happened to find it. Though perhaps the title was misleading. I did say it was Happy Chaos pre-release roleplay, which was mostly a joke about the fact that I'm using magic and guns all the time. Though it probably wouldn't be very difficult for me to pull off a Happy Chaos impression. Do that again. Enough tangents, Xander. You have people in your class trying to talk. There was a statement somewhere around there about what was going on with C's, right? Oh, it was very recent. C's is a one-time mind control that leaves its victim's brain dead. Definitely not for casual use. But still equally usable on my boss, huh? That's a bit too sadistic. Maybe not the branding I should be looking for. Alas, I am stuck between the aspects of trying to be a presentable, approachable professor with so many wonderful things to teach in such a pleasant, soothing voice, or potentially the more violent and sarcastic, aloof interpretation of Xander as a man who solves his problems with sheer force, being the Gold Lewis main in Guilty Gear. But as we had our lesson from Cassiopeia's level in Psychonauts 2, we are not restricted to just one archetype, and we can present just how we please. Blaze Warrior, gonna try to put more effort into drawing so you can work on your own fictional characters. A very specific goal of mine too. I've been talking to a friend a lot about game design yesterday, hence me talking about the phrase control scheme popping up into my mind so much. I might be starting on something soon, but I do have to get concept stuff down, which will require me to use my drawing abilities and honing them a bit more. Now that we finally cleared out the violence from this sector, what are the other letters we're looking for? They should be glowing. They should be very obvious, shouldn't they? Yes, I main Gold Lewis in Guilty Gear. Have you not watched my Guilty Gear streams? That is my best content. What are you here for control? Go leave and watch the Guilty Gear tourney. Go watch the Guilty Gear tourney from Friday. I mean that jokingly, as the metric I care about most is my concurrent viewer count. Error, for now you do everything Undertale or Deltarune related, but when your animations get better you're going to do your own animation series. And that is something I would be a lot more interested in watching, as my specific focus for why I appreciate creators so much is I like seeing what they put out. And if I'm actually going to pause the stream here for a moment, I'm going to shill someone who I believe puts in the highest effort animation content and still does not have nearly the recognition that they deserve. Following off of our discussion previously about the meritocracy not existing, if YouTube would load its damn browser window, I'm not going to regurgitate someone else's content by playing it on my channel, but I will plug their channel. This guy, I want you all to watch this guy's content as he is the highest effort animator on YouTube with 200k subscribers, which I think is far less than, or not much more than the last time he had a video that went viral. That's the guy that deserves at least 500k, and I'll do whatever little bits I can do to help him along. I'm thinking about subscribing to his Patreon very soon. Not too many people I patron, but there are a very few specific people that tug at my heartstrings, and he will be one of them. C3PO, hope that if you do want to come onto your channel, people will want to check you out, you know? I am all in the mood for collaboration and getting some sort of mutual recognition of other people's content. It is absolutely necessary that I should have been participating with other people for the longest time, but I didn't know where to begin. Please tell me there's a letter in here. I'm wondering, I'm not ignoring what's going on. I'm trying to look for those letters. Here, let's watch TV.
Just look at it. 8 inches wide and capable of storing a whopping 80 kilobytes.
We've seen this one.
Stolen by our friends at the CIA.
Cleanse and contain the moving letters. Are there more further up? I wonder, because we actually haven't floated up here yet. Let's give that a look. I am very eager to show up on your channel just because I want to get as much networking as I can get done possible. I do believe you are a member of the VTuber FGC, even if you...
That's no normal piece of paper.
I've seen you in a number of the other streams, so I am interested in doing some sort of content collaboration. There's also Dr. Sam, who does a podcast with a modest number of followers. Now I am interested in trying to do some sort of discussion with him. I know he has talked a lot about how defense is unviable in modern fighting games, and even if it would be a circle jerk, I would love to have that discussion with him. I too am a little unhappy with the direction that a lot of modern fighting games are going. Unga unga, gorilla mash buttons, get pressure and advantage so easily. White Kitchen. Dear gentlemen of the Society of Sciences. Oh, I want to be there. It has been some time since I sent my initial letter. I hope it is not the case that you have dismissed my claims outright. In that hope, I am writing you once more to ask for your help in understanding the oddity that has befallen me in my home. I have recently begun renting a new apartment in the city. The space is nothing special, though for a time I found the isolation quite soothing. Recently, I have begun experiencing a strange occurrence. When I'm in my kitchen, a tiny little thing with not much but a sink, I sometimes lose myself. My surroundings change. I find myself standing on a strange dark stone. I stare out at a colorless sky, as white as undisturbed snow, terrified of moving. Perhaps this is a brain issue. I think not, as it feels terribly real. This has been occurring for some months now, and I have become frightened of entering the kitchen. If it's not too much of an inconvenience, I would dearly appreciate a visit from one of your professionals to see what they make of it. I await your response with little expectation, but with great hope. Very truly yours, Lorraine Fitzgerald. Mr. Governor, I called the police, but they never come to my house. I got a problem, and you got to send folk to fix it. I got my wife one of them singing fish on the walls. It's not a real fish. It sings when you hit a button. But it's got the devil in it. It flies around at night and sings devil songs. Says lots of cuss words. Based. The devil got in my house because of the fish, and you gotta come handle it. My wife is real upset. Can you come? Sincerely, Dwayne Barr. Wonder if he's a lawyer. C-3PO's awesome, trying to support a lot of people at once and hope to watch everyone more. Indeed. I only about, I'd say maybe 5 weeks ago, started reaching out to the VFGC and found what seems like it might be a home, if I'm gonna be honest. No matter how big I get, even if I don't surpass any of them, I get the first real inkling of hope that I might have found a group I can belong with and belong in. For a point there, and for a time, I didn't even worry about getting famous. I just was so happy to be around people that I laughed and loved so much. Professor deals with loneliness quite frequently. And I do need to play more fighting games and associate with those people accordingly. Hey, you have questions and the prophets have your answer. If you are truly intrigued, watch the time. We've lost about 45 days in the past 4 years. The shortening of days, this is why the Vatican is a sundial and also simultaneously a keyhole. Another thing while I'm here, if you want the secret to everything, compare plasma next to brain cells. The sun plus moon are composed of plasma, simply light, not planets. After this is cemented in your psyche, ponder the current whereabouts of where you, I, and humanity reside. Cheers. Sounds a lot like a tablet you'd find in Noida. Alright.
You need to know where it's gonna end up.
I'm holding the button, you fiend. Error. One day you will make your series. One day your animations will get better. One day you won't hate your animations, and you will do your best. You will use your all. And you need to get better for yourself. We'll all be in this together. I know pretty much every one of my viewers here, at least the regulars that show up. I do believe they're all creators, so I'm happy to see you all working on your own projects alongside me. And I will be following you all with great interest. Not this again. You know what? No, I'm not dealing with it. This is not my shooting gallery. Let's get out of here. And back to containment. Shoot him in the head. No, not there. I'd like to minimize the violence since it does grant us source, but it does not grant us level ups. So, for the most part, it remains a drag until we can finish all of our side quests. Oh, wow, is that our 2-hour mark already? I loved Control too much. I think I might make this a 3-hour stream. Indeed. All of us here are content creators in some form or another. And we all have work to be doing. I find myself frequently inspired by the work of my peers. And so, hopefully, I may be able to inspire you all in turn.
The trench is gone. Rest his soul. I really need to dig out my old proposal on better containment practices. More ritual worship, iconography, the whole shebang.
You had me in the first half, not gonna lie.
All of them? Wow, you have a gift, ma'am. But those weren't all of the altered items missing from the Panopticon. The hiss must be making them restless. We've had several more containment breaches.
How many of these things did he lose?
How many?
Just a couple. Should be no problem for you. I really appreciate your help. Really. Just super.
Such a weirdo. I love him.
I'll see you later, Langston.
I'll be here. Like always.
Well, I think that is an excellent stopping point for all of the little janitorial duties here. But let's keep going. Why don't we start on one of those DLCs then? Once I figure out where to put those 2 points. I think a bit more nah, we'll focus on launch. Since that's the one that we use the most. Flamingo, mannequin, and a rubber duck. As a programmer myself, I have quite the affinity for rubber ducks myself. Now, which direction are we heading? To the restricted area in the Black Rock Quarry, it looks like. Do we have any easy way into the restricted area? Speaking of fighting games, have you tried Demon Slayer? I have not yet, and I might not have the time to do so. I don't know how popular it is right now, if it's still going strong. Perhaps in the future. But it was an arena fighter, wasn't it? My home is in anime fighting games, and we do have sort of a small scope there between Blaze Blue and Melty Blood, Under Night and Birth, Guilty Gear. Those are the big 4. I might take a look at it then. After all, I found that if I try to do content for a game upon its release, I end up drowning under all the other content creators doing work at the same time. As people are searching, they do not find me, but they find all the more popular people. Whereas when I do content for games that have fallen off slightly in their recognition, it seems to be a lot more successful for me. So, even if it's not immediately after the release of said Demon Slayer game, I might give it a look myself. There should be a warp door. Right. That also reminds me. Hold on, real quick. What was it? Central Executive for the Coral thing, before I forget. Thank you for reminding me, James, with your sheer magnificent presence. I'm gonna do that before we do Foundation-related things. Yeah, it says there's a warp there. I don't think I saw it on the map. Let's try that again. Give it another look. Except, where is that control point here? Is it on the other side of the gate? Central Research, that's right. Thank you, James. Let's get going. And you said downstairs, right? You're juggling a lot right now, actually. 9 Twitch tabs. The most I've ever done is watching 3 streamers at once. But Leviathan did make me a very proper point, and that is, if you're watching a lot of VTubers, you are watching no VTubers. Blaze Warriors, try to do the best you can be as a writer, and as an animator, you will try your best to create something that you can be proud of. Same here. And the VTubing stuff is the first stuff that I've felt proud of myself with in a long time. Let's get an answer to what's going on here. You mean that very long passageway that we found earlier? The pitfall. Because I remember that one. I think it was over here. Indeed, there's all the other weird wildlife right here. Oh, I remember this spot. Wonder what's with the bioluminescence. The pit, quote unquote. Barnacles, what do we have here? Well then, I might have to give Demon Slayer a try. Also, I did see earlier you were talking about rollback netcode for Blaze Blue, Blaze Warrior. which I think you might have shown up after I started talking about it, but I'm thinking I might do a labbing stream for BlazBlue tomorrow as I try to figure out what character I want to end up playing. There's a VTuber tourney this weekend, and even if I'll go 0-2, I do want to give it a try. Participating in that community gives me so much serotonin. Aha! Sort of like some kudzu or moss growing along the walls.
Area's under quarantine. I wouldn't go in there without talking to Underhill first. Even if you have, I still wouldn't go in.
Where's this Underhill fellow? He might have some noble exposition to provide to us. This isn't even marked on the map. Okay. Alright. Thank you. And thank you. She's in the box place that you walked away from. Oh. We did just pick up something to take a look at. Oh, we have a lot of... Okay. That's where we have documentation on all these. I might read these sometime soon, but not now. I do want to find out what's going on here. She's in here.
Excuse me? Are you lost?
Well, I said you wouldn't go in there unless we were quarantined, but this is literally the box that you would have...
Do you normally barge into people's private workspaces?
Yes.
She
I'm the
clearly doesn't
director.
know who she's talking to.
Shouldn't you be in a safe room?
Why? Because of those hiss things the Rangers keep going on about. Haven't you people sorted that out yet? The situation down here could spell doom for the Bureau.
You mean this mold?
Correct. Perhaps you could help me. I require samples of various mold strains, and the mold has made the environment far too dangerous for me to fetch them myself.
Really? Mold samples? I thought this could spell doom.
It could, and it will, whoever you are. The mold is spreading. We need to find the source before it spreads too far.
And these samples will do that?
No. Samples of 5 unique strains, when blended properly, will allow you to travel deeper into the pit where I've pinpointed the approximate location of the source of the mold.
Okay. So what do these samples look like?
Similar to the one on my table there. I've made a list of the samples I need here. You'll find them throughout the threshold.
I'll take a look. My name's Jessie, by the way.
I'm sure it is.
Uh-huh.
With Darling gone, I'm putting Emily Pope in charge of the research sector. Are you okay with that?
Perfectly. You have pulled Excalibur from the stone, and now decree as you see fit, O Queen. What a true meritocracy we live in.
Glad to hear it.
I just told you it doesn't exist, you liars.
I'll see you later, Rhea.
Dr. Underhill, if you please.
So I see someone with a real doctorate will wear it a bit too proudly. Your arrogance earns my disdain. You speak very eloquently, you know that? That is specifically why I picked the scientist character, and I actually do speak like this in real life. Maybe not when I'm enjoying myself with some video games, but I do have a tendency to put a lot of effort into how I speak. You will notice that I frequently pause during my sentences, and that's because I'm trying to come up with whatever words would be best to hammer my point home, like what I just did there. I put a lot of focus into the language that I use, as language is very, very powerful. I did make the statement before that originally my first draft for my VTuber model would have been a punk robot, punk rocker and all that stuff, which could have another character for me to play up, as it is somewhat more accurate to another one of the aspects I could present. Although when people meet me, they often first recognize me as someone polite, helpful, and intelligent, hence why I have settled on the scientist idea to go through with. I try to make myself as audibly presentable as possible between using not my real voice, but a more presentable, elegant professor voice, and then I have a lot of big words that I can tack onto my sentences as well. Error, you will do your best even if they say your art is awful. Who says your art is awful? I will beat them up. I'll go invent a Noida wand which disintegrates them immediately. Unless no one is actually telling you your— oh, goodness. Unless no one is telling you your art is awful yet, because I think I've only seen positive praise for the work you put out. Sometimes you stop talking entirely because you just can't find the perfect word to communicate your ideas. I have noticed a number of sentences I've attempted to speak on stream, which I will often drop just because I don't know how to finish it either. Usually I have something that I try to change the subject to immediately, or try to jump to reading someone's words in chat right afterwards. Grows near fresh corpses, grows near toilets, grows near televisions, grows near staircases, grows near the pit. Alright, so we do have an idea of what these are supposed to be. I assume grows near televisions is incongruent from grows near computers. Wasn't there a TV in one of these hallways? If only I had a flashlight. I probably do and I don't remember. Do we have a way to— I mean, right there, there's, Research active threshold? I imagine this is what they're referring to with that active threshold. Oh, please give me an answer. Damn it. Hey, Joy, sure it's better than yours. You remember in high school you were drawing a bottle and your friend asked you, why are you drawing shoes? I imagine that would happen in the case of an asymmetrical drawing, which symmetry is one of the most difficult parts of art to get down. I've noticed that when I've attempted to draw my own VTuber self, not looking directly into the camera, not having a symmetry ruler to play off of.
Be careful down there. We don't want to have to come save you.
I'm guessing we have to go further down in the pit then, so yeah. Further up the walkway. Since it seems we don't have any stuff going on here.
It smells so sweet down here. Suddenly I'm really hungry.
That's the bad sign.
I wonder how this mold— are those people?
Ah, so I imagine that's what's going on here. The mold smells so delicious, and so you're compelled to consume it, and then I imagine it does the usual brain fungus cordyceps sort of routine here. Mold is a more accurate word for it, although I did see a lot of things that looked somewhat barnacle-esque, hence why I assumed this was more of an aquatic presentation of imagery. It was an art assignment, you forget what it's about, but you were very proud to about the bottle. Indeed, it's your friend who was wrong, mistaking it for a shoe. Indeed, in retrospect, that definitely looks like it could be mold. Remind me. Coral is in the kingdom Animalia, correct? Coral isn't a fungus, despite its strange appearance. I imagine we'll have a very lively indicator of the type of mold we should be looking for. Okay, ugly. I get the point. Give me a bit of that health back, thank you. Haha, physics. You don't like too much sweet as, so you might be fine. He certainly doesn't look tasty, but it might mess with the mind. Given that she immediately... Ah, there we go. That is definitely more mold-like in appearance.
Found one.
You're gonna pick that up with your bare hands. There's a reason I wear gloves, thank you very much. It's actually because all the equipment in my lab is constantly shocking me. They're rubber gloves for a reason. Should I ever present my lab to any of you and say don't touch anything, I advise you to not touch anything. There we go. Near fresh corpses.
This must be one of the samples.
But it has a relatively similar appearance as the other mold strain. Curious. Aha! Little secret. You can't hide from me. Not forever. You know, we can probably work on one of our guns right here. Wrong button. Yeah, there are gloves. I don't use this expression nearly as frequently as I should. But that is part of the model. I do have a reference sheet that I did draw, but I think I need a much more formal and professional one to present. After all, having a reference sheet for people to draw fan art from might be the best way to get some sort of traction. I could actually request a scab or two. Oh. Well, obviously we don't have the time here to have that conversation. Yes, he finally got the point. No more weapon for... Oh, wait, we can upgrade Shatter. Very good, very good, very good. And we just need more source. Not too much of it either. But we probably should have just worked on more constructs. A lot of RNG stuff going on there. We do have some mods we can probably get rid of, though. Not doing very much for us, though, in the long run. Shatter. Recoil. Ooh, damage buff. Damage after kills. Damage while aiming. Headshot damage. Really? I think Pierce already does basically a lot versus armor, so let's try to boost that headshot damage. And between two bullets, we're not going to get too many consecutive kills, are we? Let's go back with the armor. We'll just use that for when we have to take down a boss or so. Shatter. Ah, they aren't in order in here. Interesting. And we'll boost the surge, huh? So there's a different weapon kind we haven't yet unlocked. Let's go ahead and start deconstructing some of the weaker ones. Anything 2 or below, generally. You get source from deconstruction, so that's good. It's probably not going to get us the few thousands we might need, though. I think it was about 2,000 that we needed. Ah, we did get enough. So, let's put that back on there, shall we? Ah, so fun, but I'd rather have the shotgun. That one's way too fun. Ooh, I love that. Let's do it. Grows near toilets, grows near televisions, and grows near the pit. Which I imagine is a bit further down. We have a very large viewership tonight. Everyone's talking. Y'all boost my mood so much. Well, lurkers are always welcome too, but having multiple people to talk to and always keep the conversation going always lightens up my mood. And in fact, y'all have noticed there's been a number of times during the stream in which I've skipped over someone trying to talk because there's so much going on in the chat at the same time. This is why I began my work, because I consider it, oh goodness, very heartwarming to be able to continue a conversation. I saw it coming. Well, Jesse turned into a mushroom. But that was what I considered would be the best time for me streaming, would be when I'd have a decent number of people in chat to be able to hold a conversation with. That's what streaming is to me. Once you have 0 viewers, or 1 or 2, then there's not much going on. Streaming is mostly about the personality, so if there's not talking or interaction to be done from or with the streamer, you're not going to be enjoying yourself watching, and the streamer isn't going to be enjoying themselves either. You'll notice it for a lot of streamers immediately after being rated, or spontaneously gathering a whole bunch of viewers after receiving a recommendation from the algorithm. Their mood will lighten up exponentially, and very noticeably. Likewise, on the other side of the parabolic spectrum, once a streamer has too many viewers, you sort of have to prioritize who you respond to, and you can only respond to a few people. Made even worse by the fact that so many people will not be speaking constructively in your chat. That's another reason I'm actually not too interested in getting big on Twitch, and why I'm interested more in YouTube, as I feel like YouTube culturally is a bit more constructive in comparison to Twitch, which might have evolved a lot since the last time I looked at it. But I know YouTube's, or Twitch specifically, for having emote spam everywhere. So that stuff is toxic to be around, got it?
This looks like a good one.
Let's just break those before they cause any more harm. Indeed, if you ever need advice on wand building, I can always help you in Noida. And I do want to pick that up soon, which will definitely be one of the subject matters for the stream this weekend. You can expect there to be Guilty Gear, you can expect there to be Noida, and so far, my accomplice in crime, Leviathan, has gone through with the recommendation that I do something Toho related, so I might just boot up one of the shooters and play it for a little bit. Although I've never completed one of the Toho shooters. That might be an audience I'd hope to reach. Noida is so damn fun. I want to get back to it, but we don't get any new viewers showing up. Except that was actually when James showed up, was from a Noida stream. So once I get some more exposure, it might have a much more recognizable presentation. After all, there is one guy who keeps getting recommended to me on Twitch who also plays fighting games and Noida. Get me a little bit of health back. Now we gotta look for a toilet and a television. Perhaps further down, or perhaps closer to the entrance. After all, those are labeled as type B and C, so they might be earlier on. I would guess that the game developers would have prioritized a certain order that we expected to find them. Which is probably the same order that they are on the list. Can't be good to be breathing all this stuff in. Yeah, they're probably all in here somewhere. I will give you a warning before you learn to recognize the danger that Noida throws at you. It's going to be a long road that will test your patience. And given how merciless the game is, it does destroy you very quickly if you make any one single mistake. That game has absolutely no mercy to it whatsoever, which does demand a certain level of respect.
Gross. Underhill is gonna owe me for this.
I wouldn't have wanted to do that either. You couldn't have gotten me to do that with bare hands. I would have gone all the way back just to get some gloves. In here is probably where we'll find a television. Indeed you do.
This looks like a good one.
Cla-
That's all 5 samples.
Class, I am very sorry for what I am about to do. But you know exactly what time it is. I'm very sorry. The glasses are so that you don't see me crying behind these glowing lenses. I'm so sorry, James. I'm so sorry, but I have to play this like a completionist. Mr. Bones? Oh, goodness.
Occur at random and without warning, but with the Bureau's cutting-edge technology, we can stabilize the oldest house. Safe employees are happy employees. Certain rituals allow agents to navigate the oldest house as well, but accidents do happen.
Indeed, we have Steve, we have Scott, and here we have Stanley.
Trapping agents inside the walls.
Class, I'd like you to meet Stanley Bones.
You got stuck in your room for 3 days, Topher. Too bad you didn't have your book with you. Or any food. And remember, kids, when you feel the floor deviate, it's already much too late.
That was a whole different level from the other 3 we've seen. Well then, I can't say I feel too comfortable about that one. Yes, C3PO. It is absolutely horrifying. And I completely agree with Kayla's sentiment that there are so many unpleasant words coming to mind that would get me dropped from the algorithm immediately. I wonder if that is secretly at play. Wonder if it scans these long streams and looks for words that are not so presentable. You don't like those. But I enjoy making people suffer. Oh, this is the wrong spot. It's not that far. It's not that long of a trek back. Just how are we getting out of here? I enjoy making other people suffer. That's why I play Gold Lewis. So unfortunately, we must all sit here and suffer together through those presentations. I do believe it was down this way. Uh-oh. Oh, hey, just enough. Yuck. Very gross indeed.
You look like a woman with mold for me.
Indeed. I do have mold for you. And demands.
But I kind of wanted to eat them.
The mold has that effect on some people. Likely due to the fact it's not actually mold or even of this dimension. I suspect it is the result of two incompatible molecular structures, one dominant, coming into contact. I call it mold or fungus because it's closer in appearance and behavior than anything else we know. Except perhaps bacteria.
She reminds me of my old biology teacher.
Did you happen to meet any more members of my ranger detail?
I didn't see any rangers. Just walking mold people. Unless...
Yes. If you found mold people, you found my rangers. I refer to the creatures as hosts. They, like other unwary agents, succumbed to the appetite. But that's nothing for you to worry about. The pill I'm about to make with these samples will make the lower level perfectly safe to traverse. It has the added benefit of immunizing you against the pit's toxic spores.
Feel like I should ask to see her credentials.
There. That didn't take too long now, did it? Ingest this pill, then go and find the source of the mold. Only there can we begin to understand how to stop it.
Take a mystery pill because a rude lady in a hazmat suit tells you to. Great idea, Jesse.
You'll be fine.
Oh. Honestly, did you want me to wrap it in cheese?
Not the taste, the smell. It stinks in here now.
Good. That means the pill is working. The worse it smells, the safer you'll be. Now go. Find the source.
I'll see you later, Rhea.
Dr. Underhill, if you please. No need to hurry.
Don't do it. I think it's too late. We gotta see what's going on with all these mushrooms. Whoever made those things better not be Hiss, because that could only make things worse. Indeed, with their
This must be the pit Underhill was talking about.
toxic and infectious ways that they could be speaking to us. Just watching those videos could be cursed in more ways than one. There better be a control point down here. Oh, goodness, you are powerful. Give your friend a hug for me. So two different molecular structures, huh?
God. The further I go, the worse it smells.
Ah, he deserved it. And so do you. Why would you eat this garbage? sort of akin to what I know about strange matter, although I've only watched a few Kurzgesagt videos on that. Presumably, a far more stable state of matter, when in contact with other sorts of matter less stable, might compel it equivalently to reach a more stable structure as well. The physics behind it I do not understand. I am more of an engineer than a physicist. We will have to talk to my associate, Dr. Cave, on that subject. Ooh. If I can get him to show up on stream on Saturday, that would be wonderful. A good chance to talk to some friends or associates of mine. Crash test dummies. In a story of yours, there are materials that have similar properties. Indeed, it's always nice trying to look at real-world physics and some of their curiosities to understand how you could make your own stories out of it. Get the rules to interact with.
7.28, wait, 6, 7, whatever. Still in the thresh mold. Ollie's straight up eating the vegetables now, because, well, why not? Mom said, eat your vegetables. Eat too many and your skin will turn green. Green like Ollie's. Hey, Ollie, what'd you find now?
Very not good.
Is that the source? It's kind of pretty.
Ah yes, another giant eyeball worm. Several. Perhaps Pierce would be a lot better on here. Oh dear. Pretty before it became a Resident Evil boss, indeed. I think maybe the shotgun is not going to work. Kurzgesagt, yes, one of my favorite channels. If I were in a position with much better production value, I would probably create similar content, although I do not have much scientific credibility on my own outside of computer science. So if you wanted to learn about programming, I could definitely do that for you, but not so much for the talk about physics or the nature of the universe. Let's try the spin once more. Resident Evil has been brought up a couple of times as something people have wanted me to stream.
The source?
I might not have enough time.
Kind of pretty.
If only this was Halo, I could throw a grenade in there. Maybe if I paid a bit more attention. Alright, no more aiming down the sights allowed. We gotta be aware of our environment. And this is doing a lot better for us. If it was easier to read those tells, perhaps. Oh dear. Oh, that is a much bigger chunk of health. Let's do that instead. Oh dear. Is there any health we could find? Probably not. And there it is on the ground. This is melee. Halo melee would be maxed out by default. Indeed. The amount of strength those guys have in canon is incredible. Well, it seems most of our bosses take about 3 fights to get rid of, so let's see if this one is the charm.
Is that the source?
You gotta make our shots count.
Kind of pretty.
Another game over for you. Yeah, that's how Noida goes. I've always wondered how animation blending like that works to make them sort of explicitly punch this one area. One of my curiosities about game design. How you can sort of code animations.
Weird shit in this place.
Think about it, no amount of armor will protect the brain from a good old Spartan head jostle. Indeed. That's why, That's why a lot of concussive weapons are so functional against armor still. You can still damage what's inside if you rattle the cage. So I will give you the forewarning error. I don't think you've been here for every Noida stream, but you will go through a lot of failed runs before you find one that accidentally works too well for you. Then you'll become complacent in your new godlike abilities. To think we would have been stuck down here if someone didn't place one of these control points.
Oh, so good. Oh, need more.
Yeah, no. Good thing I never enjoyed mushrooms in my food. This is the pit at the deepest point. Perhaps the active threshold is our best way back. Well, we finally have an answer. Thank you, James. Been wondering about this forever. Me playing it seems easy. Like with other brutal roguelikes, the biggest thing that helps you play is knowledge. So you will need to know about your past mistakes in order to make it work. A lot of the runs you see, I won't find any good spell components for a while. But once you have a chance that you understand how to exploit the game, you'll be able to do a lot better.
And you're not sprouting mold from your eyes. I take it that means my pill worked. Now tell me everything. Did you find the source? You did, didn't you?
I found a big angry plant. Like gigantic. I killed it.
You killed it! You found the source and you killed it! I could have learned so much from a live specimen.
Her concern is touching. Really. It's too much. Here, I brought you a sample.
A piece of the innermost mold. You're not such a lost cause after all. Strange. superficially. Another stage of growth, perhaps.
Please, no more stages.
You'll be pleased to know that cutting down the creature at the source has already resulted in a notable cessation of the mold's rapid growth. You've bought me time for further study.
So what now?
I'm glad you asked. While you were busy in the pit, a number of mold hosts were sighted beyond the threshold. They managed to sneak out without the Rangers noticing. There's a reason I didn't send Steve and Andy to find the mold source with the others. These vagrant hosts must be eradicated as soon as possible. The mold can still be spread by their overgrown bodies.
Any idea where they went?
The hosts I've observed are not a sprightly bunch. Here are the reports I've received. They'll help you find them.
I'll go take care of them.
Good. And do be quick about it.
There's a nice way to say that. I'll see you later, Rhea.
Dr. Underhill, if you please.
My
This
family
world
had
won't
black
finish
mold once.
itself.
Leached it.
Man, what a bitch. I think I speak for everyone when I say that. Safari works here. Yeah. I mean, with Mr. Bones being there, must have been an entire family reunion. What was our way out? Damn it. Did we have to go further in a little bit? If you eat something that makes you sound like that, please ensure that you aren't eating mold. Yeah, he was making a few too many uncomfortable noises for me. As much as you might hear me swear, I will not be perverse on this channel. I am not licensed to teach sex education. I must confess, all the horny VTubers actually make me uncomfortable. You need to power the elevator, so that explains why there was that battery around earlier. Thank you, James. Thank you. Make a run back. We are looking spiffy, although I don't think it would have been good to get so much mold on a brand new suit like this. So maybe we could afford an outfit change. And to take one of these. See where the cable runs. Wrong button. Let's get rocking. I assume that might be a more dynamic and less story-oriented quest to find the escaped mold people. Yeah, whatever. Less interesting. I think we have one little thing we should check out before. Therefore, I can leave you all on such a lovely cliffhanger. And then you'll be back for more streams. All according to Keikaku. Hold on, wait, hold on. I know that's not a, I know that's not an Evangelion thing, but I do need to say that while I have this expression on. Oh, wait. You can't even see the hands with my neck being down there. Indeed. All according to Keikaku. There, make me obstruct the view of the game a bit less. I will have an overlay one of these days once I figure out the aesthetics I would like to present. We are looking for... So at this point, you'd say there's one more majorly interesting side quest, the mirror. And where is that located again? Help me find it. You know what? I will agree with the sentiment. It's probably better for us to do one more interesting side quest and then do the DLCs next stream. Oh, Dr. Darling.
Questions recently regarding HRAs.
I wish we could find him.
What are they for? Do you always
Love him so much. You look it up while I figure out how the heck we're getting out of here. Ah, yes, there was one in Dimensional Research, right? No, this is... I could look on the map like an idiot. Hold on, I gotta do something real quick. Sorry, we can't just spend all our time doing that now, can we? Energy now recovers while holding launch objects. Lovely. I look forward to it. Real quick bathroom break again, while we look up the information for finding our way to the mirror. A lot of do, a lot of dum. So there's a case file in the bottom of the security section. Security, security, security. Of the containment sector. Alright, alright. Security. So our closest is logistics, which I do not want to end up in a fight again, but... we'll have to do it. Indeed, thank you, James. You are such a helpful guide on all these games. I think Rain World might be a game that I'd be better off playing a little bit more offline and then get a hang of it. Maybe play halfway through or so. Once I have a better understanding of the fundamental mechanics, it will be harder for me to get angry at it. Although I will confess, the time limit that you have put on for each day is definitely a deterrent of my enjoyment of it. Especially since I spend so much time trying to talk to people. Near the bottom of the security section. Keep an eye out. We'll be looking for a desk, presumably. Perhaps on this second floor, then. Can we actually get through here quickly enough? We are still locked through locked from going directly through those doors. Exact location in the Discord, just in case your instructions weren't clear enough. Let's get another little perspective on that real quick here. Marked as a spoiler, curious. Doesn't appear to be a file I can immediately open, so I think I'll go back to a little bit of looking real quick. And then we'll take another look. Very curious. Right, we can probably put on a couple of different mods. We haven't found anything much recognizably better, though, it looks like. Feel like the people that you watch on YouTube and they save you from when you feel sad or upset when you lose in a video game or not understanding schoolwork or life. You just feel like you like this community. This community saves you when you're upset and you think all the people that you found and enjoy watching the videos. Keep up the great work. Indeed, same with you. That's the whole reason why this is such a cultural phenomenon. Parasocial relationships, so long as you still recognize them healthily, are a great way to boost your mood. Huh, would have been interesting if I could see what's on the other side up there. So we are supposed to get around there. Somehow. Right, there were stairs around here somewhere, correct? I think they were on this corner. Or not. I forgot. How did we get through here? Not in any of those rooms. There we go. I do remember the staircase. Resent it as a PNG. Is resent a word? Ah, gotcha. So it's on the other side. Doesn't look like there's much medicine going on in here. Funny that security is right next to the medical wing. The fire is everywhere. Yep, that is your typical Noida playthrough. You will rapidly learn why fire immunity is the most necessary of the immunities. And just why it's so coveted, alongside oil blood. Ah, so close. Get away from me. Damn screamers. And the acid. Yeah. Unfortunately, there's no actual way to get acid immunity in that game. So it always remains a danger. But there's more ways to play around it, and you'll get hit by acid less commonly as you get better abilities. Wrong button. Finally, it's good to have these doors open. So presumably on the second floor then. I think we found what we're looking for. Even if it's not what we're looking for. However, contact should be limited as some report feeling disoriented after touching it. Item is handmade and set in dark wood. The item itself is lacquered, hand-painted, spins freely on all axes. While the continents and oceans are recognizably those of Earth, careful examination has revealed numerous and other geographic additions that do not exist on our planet. One of these islands has a city marked on it, named Tan Aurelio. There are no signatures left by its maker. Physical contact renders subjects dizzy and disoriented, with some reporting a feeling of unfamiliarity with their surroundings. This effect seems to grow worse with prolonged contact, culminating in a sense of listlessness and depression. Suicide has been observed in handlers. Watch out for polymorphine. It will find you, and it's only a matter of time. Indeed, that is the #1 run ender. Blasted polymorphine. Something about a mirror. Hold on. Right there on the border. Ah. There we are. Yeah, do be very healthy about your playtime with Noida. It is a game that has made me quit very frustrated many a time. Background. She was admitted to a mental ward for emotional instability soon after relocating to Illinois with her family in 1914. The item only appears on record again in 2006 when the Bureau investigated a sudden rise in disappearances in Illinois. Agents found the item hanging in the local library. They contained it quickly, though the missing people of the town were never recovered. August 18th, 1915. We certify that the case of Mrs. has shown her to be a lunatic under the reasons of hysteria, bad company, and imaginary female trouble. Her fixation with the family looking glass is noteworthy, though not an uncommon matter when considering the female disposition. Mrs. Carver is a fit subject for the lunatic asylum and will remain in its confines until her affliction has passed. Signed, Dr. What do you say? It's been 3 hours. Do we take a dive through the looking glass, or should we cut it off right here? Do be healthy with the amount of time you spend watching streamers. Regardless, even if we do continue, it will be available it will be available anytime afterwards, as the VOD will be kept up. On YouTube, mind you. Our closest exit is further down this hall. Not down that hallway. They're still hissing about orange peels and whatnot. I wonder if they'll ever get bored of it. Would be very interesting to get an answer on to what's happening further. Up at 5 a.m., going to quit yourself here. Best of luck, you'll go back and watch. You know what? Just so we have a bit of closure, let's go ahead and check out the mirror, and then we'll be done for tonight. And leave the DLCs for the next Control stream. I'm excited, so excited. Would be good to have a bit more power before we begin. And I am feeling a lot more capable, notably. Thank you, Kayla, and good night. It includes a sort of unintuitive puzzle, so it can take a while if you don't figure it out. I got time. I think we can do it. Unless it's something that'll take like 3 hours. But so far, none of these side quests have really been an issue. You can check it out now, but feel free to stop whenever. I'm enjoying this a lot personally. I was just wondering if anyone here was feeling a little worn down. This is one of my favorite streams with this game so far. So, I'm having a blast. Yeah, doesn't look like I'm immediately needed anywhere else. I think I'll skip the Blaze Blue stream tomorrow. Yeah, I'll pass on watching that. I got a little bit of work to do. See if I can quickly get a grasp of some of my best moments. Because I would like to try to edit together something to show maybe on Sunday, maybe on Saturday. Lo, hello, and behold. Looks like we have more mold. Put the poor guy out of his misery. Ah, so they did arrive here. We're more concerned with the mirror. Examination of paranatural topics, experimentation with global synchronicity. As a test, television sets were placed in a variety of locations around the world inside rooms identically decorated. The hypothesis was that by identically altering the decor of every room, and then changing the channel in every room but one, that the single differing television would spontaneously align the incoming frequency to match its synchronized counterparts. The experiment seemed like a failure until it was observed that the agents responsible for arranging and monitoring these rooms were all experiencing the same emotional turmoil as one clinically depressed member of the team. Psychological examination of the agents provided the correlation. Interestingly, the phenomenon of synchronicity did occur, but not in the way we predicted. You know what? I think it actually would be a good idea. Let's go ahead and put a pause on this once we find our next little control point. Which is not in here, so I imagine it's back in the ritual division. 3 hours is definitely a long stream for one starting in the evening, and on a weekday, too. What a wonderful night it's been. This has actually been one of my favorite streams so far. So, I'm still up in the air about Blaze Blue potentially tomorrow. It's airing more on the side of no, so let's go ahead and cut it off for tonight. Wednesday is our biggest stream this week, as we are going to be focusing on the single-player campaign for Halo. Same with Thursday. Friday, I haven't yet decided on if I am doing the tournament, which might require to be discussed. Regardless, I think Saturday we are going to have a big, wonderful stream featuring a lot of the best content here. And, I mean, just a lot of time to spend with Professor doing whatever. No pressure. It'll be a very relaxed, long-lasting stream. Please show up when you can, otherwise it will still always be up on the VOD. Thank you all for your attendance. This has been one of my favorite streams in a long time, given how much conversation we've gotten through with tonight. I hope things can only get better from here as we approach the new year and further milestones ahead of us. Class is dismissed. Your attendance has been wonderful. Thank you. And one of these days, a more formal and less DIY way for me to end my streams here. Should get an actual overlay to end with. Intro card, outro card, and so on and so forth. Good night, everyone.